Oh, good morning. It is Friday. Got the green screen going on so we can not be all ghostly. Should make a green chair so you don't even see that. Um, we have some new audio equipment that I'm going to put together this weekend thanks to a generous donor. Um, I would have done it this week. It's been a busy week, and I want to do a review, like box opening review. So I've kind of delayed that. So I figured the weekend would be the best time to do that. I hope you've got some good coffee. We got some good. Can't see my logo. Because it's green. Yeah, the logo's green, so you can't see it. So the green screen is cool, but I can't advertise my coffee mug if it's. So I hope, I hope you're happy, green screen supplier. Anyways, I'm very grateful for the generous donations. I hope that at least I waste a couple of minutes for you, if and entertain you, if not inform you. And let's get some low board stuff up here. We'll talk about a few things. So I put on a. We're gonna play the phlegm game again. Sorry. Um, I put up a poll in the community page. Please be sure to visit it. I would like to get the Snorelord OG channel up to where I can do community posts. Somebody's told me it was 500, and I don't know how many I've got actually. On that old other channel, which is my original channel. Um, let's see, we got the load ratios up. Let's do that. Oh, and then we have. Let me get this up here. Go to my Gmail. Look at my folders. Sorry, guys, I was not prepared. I put up the green screen and was running later than I like to because we have a busy morning. So let's just do this. Let's just search. There's what I need. So, all right. So I got the code up because yeah, we're an ambassador for 123 low board. So we got to put that out there. But and I'll do a video later on some of the tools. Jeffrey likes good at that, and I'm still learning this StreamYard thing. We'll get some more people in here, and then we'll do our shout outs, and then we'll go over some of the load ratio stuff off of 123 and the DAT. But the 123 is the clearest. The you got to use a variety of tools if you're running the spot market. But you can have all the tools you want, but if you don't have some people skills and some social skills and the ability to kind of look at things from a certain mindset, those tools do good. In fact, they can be kind of frustrating. So, anyways, let's do some shout outs here. Pigtail is first. Good morning, my friend. How are you? Grafton, good morning. Nothing Witty is in the house. Cool Trucking, hi. Simple hi. Fate Trucking, let me fix something here. Or else Fate Trucking's gonna be sad. There you go. There you go, Fate Trucking. He had mentioned that, and then his selling point is he's signed on with DIY. So I'm like, well, I trust DIY. Good morning, Sterling. Everybody check out Sterling and Fate Trucking's channel. Check out Fate's Trucking channel. Check out Sterling's channel. I seem to make an appearance on his channel quite a bit. Dwayne, smiley face. Greg Zimmer, good morning, Steve. Let's make some money today. Let's hope. I'm kind of holding out a little bit, seeing what the list we're going to get today is, Greg. I almost booked something yesterday, but I did not like where it was going. So CDN Freight Broker, good morning. Paul, what's up? Good morning from Illinois, heading to Monticello for last delivery. I need to touch bases with you, sir, on what we want to do today. Truck for Life, good morning. Thank you for keeping me rolling. You're welcome. I hope we'll talk, but I'm glad you're happy. I'm glad you're happy. Sage News, hey now, what's up? Hello, DIY Semi. Check out my fancy green screen. See, I don't look like a ghost. I just look pale because of the light. Audio equipment. Ooh, what'd you get? I got a boom stand. I got a Samsung microphone, USB microphone, which is cool because Samsung is a good microphone. I use that in a PA setting. I've got a PA system, so that'll be nice. Especially if I get a decent acoustic, I could record some stuff with that. And a pair of headphones. I don't remember which brand, but hopefully they're comfortable and they're studio quality, so I'm sure they are. Better than the $30 cheapos that I have that are wired that go directly into this other mic that I have. I do have a nice set of Bluetooth headphones that are really, I mean, it's noise canceling. Oh man, it's amazing. But yeah, a pair of wired headphones. So next time we go live, there's going to be a couple of, there's going to be the annoying test videos where I'm like testing, because, where we don't really accomplish anything. And then I'll have the microphone. So I got to figure out a place where to mount the mount. I know that's redundant, but mount the boom stand. I don't know if I'm going to do it here or here. I got to take a look at it, and then hopefully it'll sound good. So, Mr. Snorelord, Shadow Wolf, what's up? Coffee time? Maybe donuts too? No donuts. No donuts there, Mr. Wolf. Don't do that. Tyrannus, what's up? Glad to see you in here. Look who can't be narcissistic now. Green screen works too. That's true. I can't advertise my mug. Desert Okie Pam, good morning. WT Johnson, good morning. Donnie Luke, yo. Link the survey. Go to my channel and go to my community, and you can put up a link if you want. Pigtail. I don't know. I tried hitting a link and it didn't. So you just got to go to my community page. And let's see. I'll read it here. Yeah, I could try. Yeah, here I'll do a screen share here. All right. See if we can zoom in on this a little bit. There we go. So I asked, at what rate will you just sell the truck and do something else? And I had 62 people vote. That's pretty good. I didn't realize that many people paid attention to my community page. $2 per mile average. 6% of you said $2 a mile was too little. 18% went to $1.50. 18% said they've already cashed out. Best of luck to everyone. And then 58% of you, I will never give up. I will drive to the gates of Valhalla. And what inspired that was Big Rig CEO's last video. He finally put up a video, and he talked about you have to have the no quit mentality, right? Now, I know a couple of people that have cashed out, and I think it was a good idea. But for me, it's I don't know what's going to make me cash out other than like trucking getting bigger to where my safety position becomes bigger, and the dispatch is doing really good. And right now, I'm getting ready to bring on another 2 trucks. They'll be at least part-time trucks. So, and then of course, I got my code. Um, my what is my code? $48065. So there's that for the 123. I announced that, but yeah, there's the video, Big Rig CEO, that I was talking about. And then of course there's an old apnea video, and then I'd share some health stuff, and then I try to share smaller channels. It's one of my favorite videos that I did on my old channel right here. So I mean, my community page can be, oh, there's a picture of the mug and guitar picks that I've put out for members. If you want to become a member, you become a member. You email me in the description and an address, and I will send you one. So, anyways, that's kind of what's going on there. So let's see here. All right, so let me change something here. There we go. All right, so 48065 is the code. Let's look at some load ratios. Oh wait, I gotta finish. Let's finish some comments here. Good morning, Jose. Sterling. On dashboard ratio, you can click on either number to actually see those loads in and out. Yeah, that's true. And you can do the same thing with like here, click on that. Does the same thing. You can kind of see where all the loads are coming out. And then you can see the interstate loads. Like we have Missouri Interstate, which Steelville, Ozark, Bridgeton to Boss. So if you're running the short game in Missouri, that's where these pop up. And the other thing I like about the 123 is that, let's say, click on this load here. I can see all the loads from that particular broker if I want. So, and I'll have a more formal demonstration video. But yeah, you can pretty much look at all, like, so for example, there's a particular broker you like and you see one of the loads, you can look at all of them, and take your choice. And then maybe there's an email contact on there, and you can get on their mailing list. So Fate Truck and 123 as a feature is pretty cool. If you're new and want to see your profit on a load, that profit calculator is a great idea. Yep. The 123 is great for spot market newbies because of all the tools. Let's go back to Missouri here. Click on this Lebanon to Ontario. You can you can even do check calls through the app. This is through the website and the app, but I mean, you can do your profit calculator. You can manipulate the fuel to what your fuel mileage is. You can manipulate your percentage. Line haul. So estimated fuel cost. So you would change this to, oh, that's about right, 459. You can change that to 6 if you live in Cali. And so you're going to go in the hole. So it's out of 2813, you're going to, you got your fuel cost there. So Additional cost is where you would put your percentage. You know, you can call it a dispatch fee. So let's do, let's see if it'll do 5%. So your profit per mile on this load is $1.37. So as booked rate. Now you can negotiate higher rates. I mean, that's the thing. This is a flatbed step deck load, 48 foot, 10,000 pound load. You know, so it's got all this information here. A lot of people complain that, you know, brokers don't put times, which is kind of an annoyance. But also, if you're a broker, 123 doesn't charge for you to post on their board. So I mean, there's a whole slew of things. But you can see this is for all. Let's do reefer. There's your reefer states that you want to be in. Idaho, obviously potatoes are rolling right now. Potatoes and onions, which can, let's do van. There's your van ratios. A little bit less red, but these orange areas, you know, that just means you got to book ahead in this area. But the green is where you want to be. New Jersey, you know, Sage has talked about the ports in the East Coast kind of waking up and doing what they're doing. So you can, now Georgia's kind of softened up a little bit. So I've noticed that. But Wisconsin is banging for reefer and van. Let's see. Let's do flatbed. Flatbed is predictable. It's going to be West Coast, Minnesota, and then of course all the Southeast stuff. So let's see. I tried to get the link but can't figure it out. It won't let you share a community post link, I don't think. Good morning, Don. What's up? Fate Trucking. Mr. Mallory, how are you doing? Morning, sunshine. I had the no quitting mentality until I didn't. Ratman, I'm gonna need help getting out of Montana early next week. All right, I will touch bases with you today, and we'll see if we can make that happen. CDN, what's up? Top Dog, good morning. What's up? Booking freight from the spot market while driving is not as easy as one would think. That's where why your dispatch service is growing nicely. Yeah, because I mean, look, if you're running nothing but short haul, you know, you got to stay a load or two ahead and then wait for the crash because it usually just disappears. And if you're driving, you know, 600 plus miles a day, you know, you've got what, a 30-minute window during your 30-minute break that you can book, which is what I used to, you know, a lot of people gripe about that 30-minute break, and it can be annoying to deal with at times. But most of the time I use that to book my loads when I was driving. So, I mean, there's definitely, you know, I'm the person that can look ahead and I make the 20 phone calls. And since a lot of brokers have switched to email because they're tired of hearing us gripe at them or yell at them, then you know, it's hard to do while you're driving. It's illegal. Use the StreamYard, yes. Big Rig CO, what is up, my friend? I have a driver pickup today who I will do a live review of after delivery. Nice. There you go. Cool. Oh, sir, what's up? Good morning. I want to do more videos with Big Rig CO. I want to do more videos with CDN. I want to do more videos with Sandman because, you know, he's got some good input, and, you know, hopefully move into the interview space. So, but yeah, let's so this is your hot market map with DAT. I just use I don't have the full blown version of that, you know, the one that's like $300 or whatever to look at the hot markets. So I load ratios will at least tell you the highest, hottest markets. And look at California evening up here, 2110 to 2121. Light blue is in, dark blue is out. These numbers are looking very healthy as terms of what I've been looking at in the past. Of course, it's morning, so this afternoon this will change. This is up to the minute. Let's see. Illinois, 1,003 in, 1576 out. Let's see. Kentucky is okay. Louisiana's got more coming out. Mass is okay. Maryland is definitely more coming out. Maine's got 116 out versus 40 in. Missouri's kind of lopsided right now, more going in than out. That's surprising. New Jersey, 349 in, 955 out. So there's that. New York, that's a pretty good ratio right there. Ohio, 1039 in, 1357 out. PA, if you live in PA, you're probably doing pretty good. 869 in, 1496 out. And Texas, though. Texas, the rates have crashed coming out of Texas. Sorry, Greg. And yeah, so that's been a struggle. So let's see. Wisconsin. Look at Wisconsin, though. 5810 in, 1081 out. So, I mean, there's like, when you look at, let's look at Van again on 123 here. Let's click on PA. If you have PA intrastate, you can stay pretty busy. A lot of these loads are short, but then you look at this one's 1150. That's the posted rate. Guys, here's the deal. Posted rates, they're meant to mess with you. They're meant to they're either meant for you to click on it as soon as you possibly can, or they're meant to make you not even bother to call them. And they're meant for the people that aren't doing their homework, right? They don't have the tools. And so if you look at this load, let's zoom in here. Let's see. They're posting $5 a mile on this load for 230 miles. It is a hazmat load, though. It's very rare to see a hazmat load on the open spot market. So there's your map. That's the cool thing I like about this. And you can have it avoid tolls if you want. Not sure on the toll calculator, but there's a lot of apps that will do toll calculations, because PA can be kind of tricky because it goes by weight. So when you look at this load, 44,319, that's going to be max on your weight on the toll thing. So just keep that in mind. So Sandman is the driver. Yes. Hello, boys, says Jerry. What's up, Big Houston? Good morning. I almost say good afternoon. It's not that far. This week has flown by. We finally got the car fixed. We picked it up the other day, and there was something that wasn't right. So we took it back, and it wasn't anything the mechanic did. It just what the mechanic worked on exasperated another problem that was already there. So another $165. It was fixed, and they even gave me a ride home when I dropped the car off. So that's about $3,000 that we put into this car. So hopefully it will be good, right? And then, trying to stay a step ahead. Reefer's been kind of frustrating, but that's fixing to change for me, because of the strategy I've got laid out. And so hopefully it'll work. If not, we'll just keep trying, because that's what you got to do. Um, and we're going to set up the audio equipment this weekend, hopefully, and get that done. So you'll have these annoying test videos to make sure that we're good. So YouTube analytics don't seem to like if you go live too many times in a 24-hour period. But other than that, so if you guys want, I'll put the link in. This could be an open Friday discussion. Copy. You guys can come in and say, hey. If I don't know you, then more than likely, I'm not going to let you in. But if you don't want to come in because you're busy, that's fine too. So, but the other, so let's share the screen again. Share screen. The other thing I like about this is you don't have to look at the map. You can just kind of do the list. It'll kind of give you all your Alabama. Like, let's look at Pennsylvania intrastate here. Well, here's Missouri, 300 outbound, 36 intrastate, 282 inbound. So a lot of times if you want to run short haul, you can look at intrastate loads. So let's say you want to do a lot of Ohio intrastate. So you would check the numbers here. As you can see, PA is pretty strong on intrastate. This is what you're looking for. You're looking for outbound and inbound, and you're looking at your intrastate numbers. Tennessee is always a pretty strong market for in and out. Look at Texas. It's showing. So, I mean, look, are the numbers lower here on 123? Yeah, because not as many brokers use this low board. DAT is the one that's been around for, well, since my dad was driving dial-a-truck. I mean, if you old school guys remember, you check the TV screen that was hopefully working, and then you wrote down, and then you had to make phone calls. What is up? Big Rig CO, turn your radio down, sir.
Turn it down. Here.
Okay, there you go. What's up? What's up, my friend?
Does that matter?
Yeah. What's up?
Yeah, I had it on the other phone, and I didn't want to use that phone because that's my business phone. Rough night, man. I went into a shipper yesterday at 2:30 in the afternoon for a 5 p.m. pickup. They put me in the door at 6:30 and came out at 8:30 in Chicago, and I was in Chicago, and told me, your load's canceled. Have a nice night.
Oh, no.
And now I got to find parking, right? But the trucking gods were on my side, and I got the last free spot at the Petro in Joliet. And got up this morning and booked a load straight to the house. So it's a wash as far as whatever, but it's like just the headache of it. I was a little concerned because trying to book a load at the last minute in the Chicago or any market right now is, not good, especially when you're trying to go from one specific area to another. There's plenty of freight around Chicago. How many are in the lane I'm gonna go in? You know what I'm saying? And it was like, ugh. So
yeah, it could be frustrating because sometimes you're tempted to leave that lane and chase the money. Oh man, this load to Florida is paying $4 a mile, but then once you get to Florida, you're like, oh crap.
The Tonu would have paid my fuel to go home.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm already booked all the way out through Tuesday. I would have deadheaded home if I had to. That was part of the plan in my head. It's like, man, if you gotta keep these other loads, just deadhead home, which would have sucked. I mean, don't get it wrong, but fuel wise, the 250 would have covered the fuel. I just would have. There'd have been no revenue. but the way it worked out, I had it going down for 1,800, and with the tow new and the load, I'm going back for 1,750. So it cost me one night and $50.
There you go.
Okay, I'll So
Yeah,
and I found another customer, another broker that has freight in the lane that I run.
nice.
I don't know now. Oddly, and I kind of talked about this in a video I did the other day, but I'm noticing for me, I don't know if this is across the board, but I am noticing for me that a lot of the freight that I was hauling in this lane 3 months ago is now with other brokers. So the customer I'm picking up this afternoon and the customer I'm delivering to is a customer that I've picked up and delivered to 100 times in the last 3 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's with a different broker.
Yeah, that's normal, right? So you know me, I do a lot of the same stuff. And so like the loads coming out of the caves, a lot of that was, one particular broker, and then all of a sudden it disappears for a minute, and then another broker's got it. And then so now I got to reestablish a relationship. Hey, I'm familiar with these loads. I know the ins and outs. I know this, and this, and they're like, okay, and then you develop that relationship, and then they lose it. So it's either a 3PL or these brokers, bid, on these loads, and sometimes it's awarded. Sometimes certain lanes are awarded. I noticed that, like, for example, Transplace had a lot of loads that went from McCormick to Michigan, different grocery warehouses in Michigan. And then they were the ones that had it in the bag. So if another broker had that, they were actually co-brokering with Transplace.
Right.
But like other things, all of a sudden it disappeared. And so now Landstar's got a bunch of that. Well, I try not to work with Landstar because the issues that we've had. So now I'm like, well, now I got to find something else to do. But it can be frustrating because you establish this relationship, you establish this lane, and then all of a sudden another broker's got it because they undercut it. So, oh yeah, we move these all the time for 1,000. Well, I used to move them all the time for 1,200. That kind of thing.
And that I had that conversation this morning. So I was moving these for 1,550 with my other broker. Mm-hmm. And so obviously I want to land on 1,550 today, right? Mm-hmm. And keep my rate. I quoted him 1,600, and he was at 14 posted, and he's like, max I'm paying on this is 15. I got till 4:00 this afternoon. Well, I want the load. I want to go home, right?
Right.
Yeah, all right, 15's fine. Ship it. Let's go. So I lost $50 there as well, as far as like if I have to continue to use this broker on this particular lane to come, then now it's down $50, and it may be because they undercut the other broker, or maybe they're just putting that extra money in their pocket. I don't know, and you know what? I don't care because it's still $3 a mile.
Yeah.
Right. And my goal is 1,500 a day at $3 a mile.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
I'm extremely profitable at those rates.
Mm-hmm.
Something you were talking about earlier. I had noticed this. I was watching another YouTuber yesterday, and he was showing while he was doing his video, he was showing like a screenshot of his phone, mm-hmm. and he's doing all the click and go apps, and mainly he was on that Truck Smarter, mm-hmm. because Truck Smarter is actually now that I look, it's a really nice app because you can link a lot of the brokers that you're used to dealing with. You can link into that and have it all in one place. Mm-hmm. But like there were loads that were on there. This is the part that I found fascinating. There would be a load on there for like $450, mm-hmm. and he would bid $1,500. this is what they're going to pay me, or I'm not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't get a load. But what I did notice is, later on in the day, he went back in and he was looking and he was like, "See, like, look, this load here was 450 and I bid 1,500, and they didn't give me the 1,500." He's like, "But look, they came up to 12." And I was like, "Wow, man, these brokers are, obviously the money's there. They wouldn't be paying. They wouldn't come up that high."
Right.
Right. And it's like, wow, man, these brokers are still really getting that original contracted rate from back in the beginning of the year. They're still the carriers are still getting $3 and $4 a mile.
Mm-hmm.
They're just paying attention to the market so well that they know that they don't have to pay anywhere near it. They're trying to move it for a third or a half of what they're actually getting paid. Not all of them. I'm just, there's a few that I noticed that are doing that. And I guess the takeaway from there is, don't be afraid to bid up, bid high. Like, I bid this lane, like I said, this morning for 1,600 because I've been doing it for 1,550 for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I know what the lane pays, and at 1,500, I'm a little under lane rate average. But I'm staying in my lane and I'm staying consistent, and that has been what's paid for me. So
yeah, consistency. So during the 2020 freight crash, where I didn't really want to get out too far, I was doing those high bids like that on one of the click and goes, because that click and go will tell you how much you lost that bid by.
Right.
And I used it as kind of because I had the flexibility to stay home, and I used it to gauge of where they were paying. And so when I really wanted the load, I would literally go just a little bit above that number and usually got the load. So that's a good method to kind of test out the market. Where a lot of people run into trouble, and this is what I ran into when I was at Landstar, is that if you are always too high and you never move, but when you finally do move, like 2 days later, I don't know if you've done, you can't gain consistency out of that. But if you're not desperate to move, in other words, if your business is so thin that you can't lose a day of not moving, that's where those posted rates are getting people, because people are like, oh, I'll just take it because I gotta go, I gotta move, I gotta, and that's why these carriers have weekly truck payments or daily truck payments, because they want you to keep moving, because they know that consistency is what makes money, at least for them, maybe not for you, but also for you as well.
Back up. Did you just say there's carriers now doing daily truck payments?
Yeah. Hurricane does that and Dart does that. Charge.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Shannon Thomas has talked about that.
That's not even that's a rental, right? A day-to-day rental.
Well, it's just the way they're charging, right? So it equates to, X amount per week or X amount per month. It's just they're just doing the math. But
sure.
So, it's just a different way of
I've been truck shopping.
Yeah.
My warranty's getting ready to go out, and I may not. I may just go ahead and keep this. But my warranty's getting ready to go out, and that gives me a little bit of unease. My point in saying that is, for people that are paying a daily rate, truck prices have come way down on used trucks. I'm seeing some really, really, really good deals on used trucks because the market is starting to flood with used equipment.
Yeah. And
so anybody who's in a daily payment lease or a high payment lease, especially if you don't have a warranty, you've got a high mileage truck that doesn't have a lease or that's under lease and there's no warranty on it, you might consider shopping because it's a good time to do it. These people that are selling used trucks are starting to get really desperate because they're overflowed with inventory. Anyway.
Yeah, we predicted this too, and it's only going to get worse because a lot of the doom and gloom that people put out there, and a lot of people just got into it too high, not realizing that I think the reason why you and I do well is because of our experience. I mean, you've got more trucking experience than I do, and you've got experience on different platforms. You did the lease purchase, you've done lease purchase with self dispatch, and now you've got your own authority. You've done the leased on with somebody in the spot market, and other than a few learning curves that you've had with the spot market, you're doing well. And I think your experience is a big part of that. Like, that if you go into Florida and you've made the hard mistakes. I think I remember a story you told me. You booked a load. This is back when you were choosing your own freight, but it had to be you booked a load to New York, not realizing the tolls and everything. You bid it too low, and then when you got to New York, you realize you kind of lost your butt. And so a lot of us have those learning mistakes. And when your truck payments are too high, or your home expenses or both are too high, you can't afford those mistakes.
Sure.
I mean, you could be a person that you may not even be your mistake. You might go to a shop and they accidentally ran your truck without oil, which just happened to one of our drivers.
The shop ran his truck without oil?
Huh?
The shop ran his truck with no oil in it?
Yeah, you took it to a TA for an oil change. It's Freightliner. And they came in and said, "Hey, we got to tow your truck to Freightliner. We just ran it for 2 minutes without oil." And so that's not his mistake. The driver was doing what I'm doing preventive maintenance, and somebody else makes that mistake. So if that guy's got, like, I don't know what his home bills are like, but if he's got a ton of home bills, it's gonna struggle until TA makes that right, obviously. But I mean, so sometimes the mistakes aren't on your part. Come wintertime, you could lose 2 days simply because I-80 shut down.
Yeah.
So if you book a load that goes to Oregon from, say, Minnesota, you run the risk of dealing with that in November, December. And so your expenses have to give you the more higher expenses, the less flexibility you have.
Some good news for you, because I know you're dispatching a couple reefer guys.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think that when the California crops come in, that's the busy season for refrigerated.
Mm-hmm.
It is not. We're getting ready to come into our busy season here shortly when winter comes, because we're still getting produce out of Mexico, Yuma, right? So that market just shifts. It just goes a little, south east.
Mm-hmm.
But when everything above I-40 gets extremely cold, and this from being in dry van, now we have all this freight that's freeze protect.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of it, and I mean a lot, right? Anything liquid, they start wanting to freeze protect. And so what happens is that's our busy season for refrigerated, because all the refrigerated freight that was already there is still there, and now we've got this added bonus of freeze protect. And so right around November, that's going to start. When the temperatures up north start getting really cold, that's when you're going to start to see some nice little rate increases for loads, because they're freeze protected now. They instead of a van, they require a refrigeration unit.
Mm-hmm.
So keep that in mind. If you have refrigerated drivers that are running for you, and you keep them up in the Midwest where it's going to get cold, you're going to get more money.
Yeah, I noticed that when during these polar vortexes, that van freight falls off the cliff, and and then next thing you know, reefer loads are rolling up to Minnesota, Wisconsin, North, South Dakota, and so and that's where it goes back to be what doing what other people don't want to do, and that's driving into the bad weather. You just got to
Yep.
time it. I watch the Weather Nation religiously every morning without fail.
Well, I'm
Even
going to stop watching it then and just call you and get my weather reports.
yeah, because I know you've made a couple of weather mistakes.
Yes. Not in a while, but yeah.
I remember I got a call from James. He goes, man, I just got like this ridiculous amount to go into like it was something like Louisiana or something like that. I'm like, yeah, that's because there's a hurricane on the way. And he's like,
Yep.
oh,
Yep. Cancel that load. Called him up and I was like, hey, I didn't notice the hurricane that was coming. And the guy's like, yeah, but it's not there. I was like, nah. I can't do the load. We don't knowingly drive into hurricanes. We don't knowingly drive into blizzards. We don't knowingly drive into major storm events of any kind. And they were cool about it, but that's why it paid so much, because nobody else was going to be that stupid.
So it goes back to what I said earlier about doing your homework, right?
Yeah.
And the weather is a big part of it. I mean, if you watch Freight Waves in the morning, that they do have a weather segment. I mean, and that comes in handy. I mean, if I know I can get across 80 there in Wyoming safely, then I'm more likely to take a load. Or sometimes you got to time it. So if you're picking up a load in Pennsylvania that goes to Washington State, it's hard to adjust that. But the knowingly, that's the key word. Like, okay, I know that. And the thing with hurricanes is that you might be able to get there, but you're not going to be able to get out. Like, let's say that the hurricane's going to hit on Wednesday, and you get there like Tuesday. Well, nobody's shipping because everybody's evacuating. You might be able to get in, or if it's like the couple of days after, the place where you're going to may not have power. You may not even be able to get to it. And so the FEMA loads used to be big money, and the carriers all saw that, so they kind of stagnated. I remember there was the first year, or 2017 was right before I got into the spot market. I was still at Steiner. We were all at the Dallas Truck Show. We were all trying to get out because the hurricane that was hitting Houston was finally coming north, and we wanted to get out before the remnants hit Dallas area. And that was the year that they had 3 hurricanes in a row, and people just made dollars after dollars with the FEMA load stuff. You'd literally show up at a parking lot with a truckload of bottled water, and you would just sit, and they would pay you $500 to $1,000 a day to just be storage. And I know a lot of people at Landstar made a ton of money during Katrina. I mean, they were making like $1,000 a day just sitting.
Meanwhile, I'm going to jinx the country because oddly enough, we haven't had a hurricane yet this year make landfall. So it's coming now.
Yeah, because we control the weather. You wash your truck, it's going to rain.
You bet.
Yeah,
that's funny.
You book a load, it's going to snow, right? You book a load. Oh, it's not scheduled to snow in Chicago on Tuesday, and like Monday night, there's a storm warning.
So here's a question for you, based on what I've been watching you do, right? So you've been doing these new videos where you're showing, the load maps, the load boards, and the load volumes, and talking about that stuff, especially as it relates to your dispatch service.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is this, because I notice you use both. You use DAT and you use 123.
Mm-hmm.
Are all of the brokers posting on both of them?
No. There a lot of the main ones, like the ones you see on Truck Smart, they post on the 123. But a lot of the mom and pops, they're not posting on 123. They're posting on that. So but a lot of them will post on both. So it just depends. It depends on the area as well. I mean, so yeah, so I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Which do
But
you like better? As far as like, you spend your whole day looking at load ports, right?
mhm.
You know, the people that you're looking for, they're spending their whole day driving, and so you're their eyes and their ears. As far as they can go down the road, and
Mhm.
you will uh, constantly be monitoring for their next load. Okay,
Mhm.
where which do you prefer? Do you prefer to watch 1, 2, 3, or do you prefer to watch that, or you got one on each screen and your head's just going like this, and you're going to wind up getting a neck cramp?
I've got
What?
neck cramps because like on the flatbed, 1, 2, 3 seems to do better.
Okay.
And then the only low board I don't use is truck stop. They don't want to give samples.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Yeah. They called me and I said to them, hey, you know, give me a couple weeks free. And they were like, no. And I was like, no, I don't want your crap.
and well, I talked to him at Matt's. Matt's truck shows give you a good opportunity to talk to people in the office directly. I mean, they're there to promote, right? So you go up to them and like, hey, this, I know I'm a low life truck driver, but here's my thoughts. And the truck stop guy was like, hey, look, truckstop.com will give you free t-shirts, but they won't they won't give you a 30-day sample. And so I go by friends, that tell me, okay, this is better for this is better for that. And I know that
Which
one,
board
two,
is
three,
better for reefer?
huh?
Which board is better for reefer, do you find?
I haven't discovered that yet. I'm
Okay.
still, we've only booked like 3 or 4 loads, and the driver that I'm dispatching for, he has truck stops. So a lot of times we'll compare notes on all three. So it's just and a lot of times I'm not booking off a low board. So it's
Sure, right.
kind of
You're
where
using
at.
your relationships that you've established with brokers over the years. And look, that's where you're going to get your best paying freight, as far as I'm concerned. Uh, if you've got an established relationship with a broker and you are always taking good care of them, they're going to always offer you the best rate they can. I find,
Hmm.
and if they're not, then you don't have a good relationship with them.
Right.
Yeah,
And they can be manipulative too. So like there's one broker that I use, and every now and then I see it a little bit harder to get my rate, so I'll just stop using them for a minute, and then a couple of weeks later or a week later I call them up and I get my rate again. So look, it's part of the game, right? I kind of I kind of attribute this. I always use the NFL as an example. You're basically, if you were working for a carrier, like Snyder, for example. Snyder, the only similarity of Snyder and the spot market is you're self dispatching, right? And but it's like going from being a high school quarterback to an
college.
NFL. No,
Schneider is
NFL. I
college.
mean, it's that much of a
Spot
jump.
market is NFL.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, the more experience you have, the lower your cost. It's easier because it's a very volatile. Look, trucking industry is volatile in and of itself. You can be on contract freight, and one day it's just gone, or things go in cycles. Like one part of the year, this area is good with freight. Like right now, I'm noticing a lot of produce coming out of the Midwest, and it's all harvest. Like squash. You're
Sure.
gonna start seeing pumpkins come out of
Yeah.
New
Pumpkin should be
Mexico,
starting right now.
and so um, and it takes
Which is good
experience
for me,
to
by the way.
recognize that. Huh?
Which is good for me because when that Midwest harvest comes in of the pumpkins and the squash and everything else, and all these other reefer companies start chasing after that freight, um,
They get out of your lane.
they get out of my way. I'm still doing the same thing, same thing, same thing, and so I actually I'm happy when that happens.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, same thing if you live like in the upper Midwest during the wintertime, so you have no choice but to go in that area when it's cold or whatever. You can make some money because
Nobody will go up there.
nobody wants to go up there. So I mean,
Yeah.
and just knowing these different things is what's helping me, right? I can't imagine doing what I'm doing with only a couple of years experience
or none,
or none. Yeah, I mean, there's a
or
lot
none.
of dispatch services that don't
I
have
get
any
a
trucking
call.
experience.
I get a call every day from somebody in a foreign country offering to do a dispatch service for me. And I'm like, how is this even possible that you have no experience?
Mm-hmm.
None. You could tell. I mean, half the time you could tell it's almost an 18-year-old kid who's just sitting at a computer calling you, trying to, sell you on their dispatch service. And it's like, how, yeah, I think you should do just fine as a dispatch service. I
Well, yeah,
Every day I get those calls, and it dumbfounds me. It's like, man, you've probably maybe never driven a car, and you're going to be out here trying to tell me how to book freight on a big rig. No, thank you. And I look, I'm polite. I just say, hey, no thanks. I dispatch myself. Have a good day. But yeah,
yeah,
that's your competition.
yeah. I'm not too worried. I know there was that one you sent me that was like, we promised $12,000 to the truck every week. It's like, unless you got some dedicated, leprechaun, gold at the end of the rainbow freight, you know,
Well,
that's
there's
a tough
that,
number
and
to
then
promise.
there's
Can you reach that number? It depends on your freight, but that's a tough number to promise consistently every single week.
sure. There's another deal too. What was it called? Good Life Industries. The guy had a infomercial type deal on YouTube, and he would teach you how to start and run your own dispatch service with no experience whatsoever. And he literally had millions of people buy his course.
Yep.
And that's what happens, right? And you want to know why rates are lower? I'm not saying this is the reason. I'm saying it's part of the reason.
It's a contributor.
You have somebody with literally no experience who just took an online course booking trucks for somebody who has no idea about the lane rates, the averages, what that load is really worth.
The
No
history.
way to even attempt to perceive what that broker actually has in that load. And they're just taking the lowest, not maybe $50 above the offer, and yep, I got my guy dispatched, and off he goes. And these are people with zero experience in this industry. They don't even have a brokerage license. They're just like calling you up. They would call a broker, and whatever truck they're using, they would give their MC number, and they would have the login information for that driver's load board. And you know, it dumbfounds me.
Well, the other thing is that they they do a flat fee, and so they're getting their money regardless if they book you or
Yeah.
not. I don't get nothing if you don't pick up the load. I don't get anything. Um,
I had that
and
offer the other day. Somebody texted me. That's you call or a text, but they have $250 a week, and we'll do all your dispatching for you, flat fee, just 250.
yeah, and that's a great way to make money if you just. I mean, I keep a truck moving, no problem. Just pick a load and go. Right. I mean, there's always something. Right. And so yeah, that's could I make more money doing it that way? No. Yeah, but I don't think I could sleep at night being that way. I mean, I turned down a client that just wants to pay his driver mileage pay. And yeah, I could have made a lot of money on that, but I know that it was going to affect that person's business, so I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to contribute to that.
Right. Hey, look, as a dispatch service, you're offering to help improve their business.
Right. Or at least
Right.
make it easy.
You're supposed to be helping them earn more revenue and be more profitable. That's the
Mm-hmm.
whole point of a dispatch service. So yeah, I mean, I can see where if somebody contacted you and wanted you to dispatch their truck, and after a conversation you realized that that was not going to work because of whatever situation they've built for themselves, you would say no. Because the other thing you have as you're not just a dispatch service, and you are, but your dispatch service is a business and it has a reputation.
Mm-hmm.
And what you don't want is you don't want to take somebody on, they become unprofitable, and next thing you know, they're all over social media saying that your business cost them money, and they made less money because of you, because that hurts your reputation. And why would you do that to yourself? What little bit of money you would gain in the meantime is not going to offset that loss over a long period, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. And that's and look, I actually enjoy what I'm doing, even though I'm talking to a lot of brokers. I saw a cool truck, and he said he caught 3 brokers in a lie. It could be frustrating at times, but it's just part of the game. If you play in the NFL, you're going to get tackled. You can even be the kicker, and you're going to get hammered once, or else they wouldn't give you a helmet. I mean, that's the game that you've signed up for. And I remember when I went to Landstar, somebody told me, one of my Landstar mentors said, dude, welcome to the big leagues, man. And the more people that you can surround yourself that look, if you find, like, for example, if I see somebody doing something that I want to do, I imitate that, or I call them and say, how do you accomplish what you accomplish? And don't network with idiots, right? I mean, and I try not to network with idiots. I've got a lot of good people in my corner. CDN, Big Rig CEO, Jeffrey Like, Sage has helped me out quite a bit. And all the contributors.
CDN's from Canada. You can't count him.
Oh, okay. But
All right. Hey, look, I'm going to get.
sorry, I was reading comments.
No,
Well,
no,
thanks.
I know. I'm gonna let you read your comments. I got some paperwork I've got to get done this morning before I can get out of here and go get a washout and go pick up this next load. Appreciate you letting me pop in.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for coming in. Later.
Yeah, bye.
All right, that was Big Rig CEO. Make sure you check out his channel if you get a chance. So let's see. You guys have a lot of comments here. So we're about 20 minutes behind on comments. Let's go to this. Eric says I can go live unlisted. Diesel. We know the perception brokers are gouging carriers. How about carriers paying 1099 driver cents miles based off of computer miles versus sub miles due to road construction or other detours, no pay at docks? Okay, so evidently CDM was bringing some stuff up. Just to note, interstate authority is not sufficient for intrastate loads. Example, Texas and Missouri. Missouri intrastate authority is free if you have interstate, but you have to file. Texas costs, yes. And so you got to be careful with the intrastate stuff. I've got a list right here of the intrastate necessary states, so I have that in front of me at all times, so I don't get the carrier in trouble. So I think we're just too far behind on this deal. I'm fed up with the brokers and lies. BS. Okay, I think I read that.
Hear me?
What's up, Eric?
Hey, Yeah, so I just kind of want to, and I agree, like I said, with Cool Trucking in regards to brokers lying and all this other stuff, but it's the nature of the beast here. I have literally had, and a quick story because I have to do an interview. I had a driver pull an oversized load for me, driver now, and all brokers basically will say, I have access to 10,000 trucks. Well, do they? Well, they do. You know what I mean? But they don't have 10,000 trucks, right? Or a driver be like, oh, I'll be there at 3. He's never going to make it by 3. He knows that, right? But it's even these little lies that affect everything, right? So we have that all the time with drivers, or I'll have drivers say, oh, I broke down. I can't take your load. Rather than just say, you know what? I don't want your load. I found a better one, right? I mean, it's all part of the game. But I have literally had a driver haul one of my oversized load, took it from Texas, went into Memphis, Tennessee, had 15 miles to go, 15 miles in Memphis, Tennessee, he had to drive. Was supposed to do a route survey, did not do a route survey, hit a bridge, and didn't tell me. Literally showed up at the customer and basically said, hey, a car pulled out in front of me, and the tank slid forward and smashed the bottom. And then when the customer got there, they went on top of the tank and they saw damage to the top of the tank. And they're like, well, how did the car damage the top of the tank? How did that get damaged? Oh, well, that's also damaged. So how did that work? I don't know. It was a car. Car did it. And so I get the following, that was like a Friday. Monday, I get a video from the customer who basically said, hey, we found your truck stuck under a bridge in Memphis, Tennessee on Friday. And here's a video that somebody posted to YouTube of him flattening, letting the air out of the tires to get out from underneath this bridge. So I call up the driver. I'm like, you hit a bridge. He's like, no, I didn't. I'm like, yes, you did. Here's the video. That's not me. It has the name of your truck on the company on the door. Nope, wasn't me. It has the name of the tank manufacturer on the tank. Nope, wasn't me. Well, at least he stuck to his story. So there just seemed, like I said, so it's an industry where shippers have lied to me. Oh yeah, you're the only one that's getting this load. Next thing you know, I call him like, all right, I got a truck. Oh yeah, we moved it through somebody else. So brokers lie, drivers lie, customers lie, carriers lie. It's just, unfortunately, at some point, every driver has probably said, I'll just tell them I broke down. Is that being honest? No. So that was just kind of one of the things I do want to mention. Does it suck? Absolutely it sucks. I try to be as honest as possible with stuff. You know what I mean? But again, there have been times I'm not going to. Yeah, if a customer's like, do you have a truck? Oh, yeah, I have a truck. I just got to get a hold of them. And I desperately trying to get, I don't have them, but I'm going to get one. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, okay, I got one. And stuff like that. It's just, Bill Gates went into IBM and said, hey, do you have this software? He's, oh, yeah, I have this software, 100%. He didn't have it. It was called DOS. He knew a guy who had it, and he went and bought it from that guy for like $40,000 and then went back and said, see, I got it. So it's business. It's not fairness.
Yeah, there's, I've got a pretty, I had a driver call me yesterday that was like, hey, do you have any experience with this particular broker? Because their DAT reviews were just horrible. And I was like, well, it's just like Google reviews. A lot of it can be the person, like even TQL, one of the biggest brokerages in the world, they have a 3-star rating, So, I mean, it just depends on the time of day, the person. I said, I don't have any negative experiences with this particular broker. I mean, it's just that there's this, and that's part of why society is kind of crumbling in the West, is because there's this entitlement, and people need to realize that there's business is not about fairness. If it was,
right,
there wouldn't be poverty, right?
Correct.
And so when I come across a broker like Cool Trucking said, I can catch them in a lie.
Sure.
If I I had one do that. I had a guy call me up, hey, by the way, I'm empty in Indy and I need a load now. I'm like, okay. So luckily I adapt and overcome, right? So I call up a broker. It was a big broker, and I go, hey, I'm interested in this load. What time does it pick up? He goes, picks up at 3. I said, well, my driver wouldn't get there till 5. Is there any way they'll work him in? It's actually for Monday. I'm like, oh, well, no, he can get there. He can get there. If he gets there by 5, they'll load him. Meanwhile, I checked the Google reviews on the warehouse, and they definitely close at 3. So what would have happened is I could have booked that load. The driver gets there 3 hours away, and there's we're closed sign on the door, and then I call the bro like, well, we need to push that to Monday then. Now my driver doesn't have any money for the weekend. So, but I smelled it, I sniffed it out. I sniffed it out, and that's where the experience that Big Rig CEO and I have talked about.
Right.
And I think that one of the things with you, Eric, is that you're kind of shielded from the stuff that happens in the van and reefer world, because you're not.
I'd flip out. Just letting you know.
Yeah, and so it's a tougher game.
Oh, I agree. There's 100%, but it's also bigger. There's more trucks in that market, and there's more brokers in that market. Right. And the thing that you guys, and I think people should watch, is the fact that now brokers are I'm now competing with people that are technically not my freight, but that are double brokering freight in India, who no laws apply to them, no rules apply to them. But they're, in other countries, not Canada, but actual other foreign countries that are now opening up brokerages, double brokering freight, or doing this stuff where, what are you going to do to them? They're just going to shut down, right? And that was something that came up, I believe, on Freight Waves, that he's doing a part of that, a series on that this is the other stuff you're dealing with. So you're literally dealing with brokers that aren't even from, not just the people you're talking to, the customer service people, but now there are literally full-fledged open brokerages in other countries. Mm-hmm. Doesn't have the same obligations, the same rules, the same, can be sued. If something happens, that can just basically be like closed, open it up in another name, with no stuff. So this is also the stuff that you're dealing with on your side, not so much my side. Mm-hmm. With oversized, but with your side. So I could see it definitely being a very frustrating aspect.
I kind of like, again, I go back to the sports analogy. It's like, high school, football player. You're just kind of, you're doing your thing, and you're kind of king of the world, and then all of a sudden you're thrown in the NFL, and you ain't squat if you ain't creating results, if you ain't making money. It's tough, and that's kind of how it is being a business owner, not just trucking, but all business. And so people with more morals tend to make less money sometimes. It just depends. It depends on who you network. It depends on what your intentions are, and if you just, at the end of the day, if you can sleep at night, I think that's my goal. I could easily lie to a broker and say, hey, yeah, my truck can get there. I mean, and a lot of dispatch services are doing that. I know that there was a lot of drivers that entered the spot market back in 2018 that were doing that. And we've got a, I'm going to have to get off here in a minute, but
yeah,
we've got a, no, I lost train of thought because of that phone call. What was I saying?
There's been a lot of dispatchers that would lie.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So we've got a clause in our contract that if you knowingly book a load that you can't finish, like you see it's a 6-hour transit time for a 10-hour load, 10-hour drive time, and you're just going to do the whole, oh, hey, I had a flat tire, or there was a fatality wreck or whatever, then you get fined by us. I mean, you have to protect yourself.
Right.
And so there's a lot of loads that I call on that the transit time doesn't work. And not because I don't want to do overnights or anything like that. It's because, like, there was one broker in particular that I said, so you got a load that picks up at 1 p.m. on Thursday, and they're like, yeah. And it delivers at 1 o'clock on Friday. He's like, yeah. and it's 780 miles.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay. And I don't even argue. I was just like, okay, not interested. Have a nice day. Click.
Did you ever ask if it's a team load? Do you ever ask, is this a team load?
Yep, I've asked that question.
Really? And they say no?
But still, even as a team load, you can't make that. I mean, there's some loads
of the other ones that you said you've sent to me. I just wanted to know if you've ever asked that, is this a team load? And if they ever say no, or what they say.
Now, there are times when, because I do have a team on my dispatch, that another phone call, that I go, yep, I can make that happen. And they're like, oh, okay. Because the brokers don't care about your e-log. They don't care about compliance. Right. They don't want to be caught saying you need to run it illegal. I mean, and back when you had the exemptions and you could ride all the way there as a solo operator, which we didn't partake in any of that, because there's a lot of liability with that. Because liability lawyer they don't care about the exceptions that you had. If you're driving tired, you're driving tired. That was kind of bad. I mean, the e-logs can be kind of a good thing because it forces everybody to kind of play by the same rules. Whereas in the old days, in the paper log days, hey, you've got this load that goes 1,000 miles. It's got to be there in 2 days, or it's got to be there in a day. You need to make it happen if you want to make money. And I imagine, I can only imagine doing this in the paper days, how much money a person could make. But at the same time, you can only do what you only do. But Eric, I'm going to get off here. I've got to get back to work. Thanks for everybody for popping in. Thanks for everybody watching. 48065 for my code. If you are interested in the 123, you get 30 days free plus $20 savings per month. That's 48065. So make sure you check it out. Have all the tools, network with the right people, and you know what? We'll weather the storm. You can do it. You can do it. Ride to Valhalla. Let's go, right? And yep, there you go. That's what you have to do, Donnie. So anyways, thanks for the kind words there, Mr. KT. So, but you guys, thanks for watching, and you know what? And maybe in the next live feed we'll have a microphone in front of me and I'll look like a true podcaster, that's weird. That's weird, right? It's weird. So anyways, guys, strength for today, hope for tomorrow. Peace.